Hi, my name is Pammy. Welcome to my closet. No, this is not a fashion vlog of any kind. I just like to talk in my closet. It's kind of acoustically cool. It's private, and it's where you hide from the storm. Tornadoes coming. Hide in the closet, right? So this is where I sit and I talk. So this is the second time I did this a couple years ago, because I had cancer. There I go with the big C word. Fashion would have been so much better, right? I have multiple myeloma, which is growing, and it's not really like totally viable yet. We test stuff for it, but I also have acute myeloid leukemia, which I have been battling since 2016. I started chemo right away after the 1st of January in 2017. I've gone through that 2 times. We got rid of it. It went into remission for almost 2 years. And then I had to go ahead and do chemo again right in the heat of COVID. So that really sucked. And then I took a pill and it was gone, and I got a spontaneous remission out of it for about 15 months. And now my blood is indicating that it might be back. I don't know for sure because tomorrow I actually have a bone marrow biopsy. So that's a little update of the update. I'm just going to say that a few times in my videos because if people are new or they join in or they give a 2 shits about what I have to say, that's what's up. So I'm always talking about, a little background here is I'm always talking about, or had been throughout this journey, about I'm kind of doing it alone. I've had real problems with my family. Now, I don't want to personally attack them in any way, but I need to explain for me and for myself why I'm going through this alone and I don't have any family, okay? It's really bizarre because they would gaslight you and tell you that it's me. That it is me, that I am the crazy one, and I've had mental health problems my whole life, and that I am, this black sheep, and they will gaslight you and tell you that they are perfect human beings and that I'm the asshole. My brother, who stole money from me and lies and, just has this big facade, just super narcissistic jerk. All right. I'm sorry, but I said I didn't want to personally attack anyone, but he didn't want to help me during the time that I needed a bone marrow transplant. I didn't get one because of him and my mother and my family. All right. He refused to do it. We needed someone that lived within a 90-minute radius of the hospital for just a 3-month period to be a backup caregiver to my husband while I went through this journey. And as we started trying to collect these people together in order for me to have this procedure, we asked my brother because he only lived 30 minutes from the hospital. And so 30 minutes from the general area where I was going to be, and it would have been no problem for him to come once a month or once a week or whatever, and let's sit here and have a conversation with me or whatever while my husband went out and got some groceries and took a break. You know what I'm saying? Well, the part of the paperwork says that they vowed to be responsible and take care of me if something happens to my caregiver, that they're a backup. And he refused because he didn't want to have to take care of me in case something happened to my husband. He just didn't want to do it. My mother, she's in her 80s. One simply would not expect her to do it. She's like in her mid-80s. Never even occurred to me to ask her to do it. But she got really angry because she had to do it. And she couldn't leave. She couldn't leave her dog. And she couldn't leave her house. And she just started freaking out and screaming and yelling at me. And, I never asked her. Never intended to ask her. It's kind of a silly thing, you can't ask your 85-year-old mother to drive. All right. So it was ridiculous, but she's really angry. I mean, when I told her that I had to have a bone marrow transplant, and that I was going to need my brother and my sister to give a blood test to see if they were a match. She got really angry and that they were going to have to do that, and neither one of them minded. Neither one of them had any problem doing it. Okay, but she's really angry that I had asked them to do that because did I know what I was asking them? I was like, yeah, I know. I was asking them to give me some of their stem cells through an IV. They were going to get a poke in the arm, okay? So she has no research. She has no idea what she's talking about. She's just screaming and yelling and freaking out, okay? So I said, well, whatever, they get tested. My brother and sister get tested. My sister is 100% match. All right? She's 100% match. She lives down in Georgia. I haven't talked to her in years because we have this dysfunctional family. I don't blame her for not talking to me because when I was a kid, I did not treat her well. It's a fucking shame, actually. Pretty angry kid, and I did not treat her well. But she's going to give me, if she's a good person like I am, she's going to give me, no matter what, she was going to give me her stem cells and try to save my life. Now my brother, he couldn't come over for an hour every other weekend and hang out and shoot the shit with me. What the fuck, right? So anyway, I'm fidgeting. So she's going to give me her stem cells, but Mom is mad about that too. Yeah, you know what you're asking your sister to do. Yeah, I did. But if you could stop screaming and yelling at me, and finally I just asked her, why are you yelling at me? Why are you screaming? Because I might lose a daughter. I might have to, worry about things like moving from my house. It was all, I said, whoa, okay. So wait a minute. Let me just get this straight. Then my cancer is all about you. Nice. She said, fuck you, and hung up on me. I haven't talked to her since. No. They both were scheduled for appointments with the University of Michigan to be interviewed, and University of Michigan didn't want anything to do with them. They were like, no. My psychiatrist spoke with my mother. My mother told my psychiatrist that she was unable to help me financially. She did give me some money. She gave me, a small amount of money, and which I used towards good. It's a whole other thing, money with all this. She did give me some money during a GoFundMe, but she didn't speak to me until, I didn't want her money. It's always about money with her. She thinks I'm always asking for money. And ironically, sometimes I do ask her for money because I'm a kid of hers and I have problems and I need money. And I always freaking pay her back. Now, I don't think my brother can say that. I don't think he's saying pay her back. I don't think he can. So at any rate, I'm over here with these people who are so self-involved, right? And she thinks everything's about money. And I didn't want any money from her. I wanted her help to get money. She belongs to a church that I won't go to because she belongs there now. It's like her space. Like, I would go to church, except my mother goes there and she went there first and it's her space. And I'm totally going to respect that. All right. So I don't go there. All right. But she could help me. She could help me in so many other ways than give me money. Supported me, been nice. She could have helped me pass out emails or, GoFundMe information, through her Facebook. There's, the list goes on of the things that she could do that wouldn't have cost her a dime. But for some reason, she thought I was asking her for money. And even if I explained that to her, she could not get that through her head. And with her, it's always been that way, about money. Everything's about money. I'm not mad about that. Shit. I get it. She grew up with a depression and she wants to keep her money. But nobody was asking for her for any. She voluntarily gave up some of it. Nobody asked her specifically. She was hit up through emails and stuff we were doing GoFundMe. And, stuff made her way. It was sent to her and my brother, and who never responded. My aunts, my cousins, my uncles, my father. There's another person. There was no response or support from anyone in my family, except for my mother, actually, who gave me this money so she could hold it against me. Well, I said, Mom, I needed your help. Well, I gave you X amount of dollars. So because she gave me money, she was off the hook. No, it's not how it works. It is. It's not how it works. And so I don't have any support. It's just crazy. If I bring them in, they want to control the situation. They want to say how it's going to go, where it's going to go, and whatever. And I myself am a bit of a control freak. Just because I live with the uncertainty of my mother and my father. My father sends me money every Christmas. A small sum of pence. All considered. He shouldn't be sending money to me at all, right? I'm an adult, so I don't really understand the motive behind it. Outside, I suppose you would say it's because he loves me or in some weird way. I have absolutely no clue. Anything I say to you would be an assumption, a guess. Total swag, okay? I take his money and I spend it. I don't feel bad about doing that because I spent a whole childhood listening to my mother scream and yell about how my father made us so much money, and she was always over struggling taking care of the 3 kids. And she didn't have enough, she worked her ass off and she didn't have enough money. My mom worked 9 to 5 in the health industry. No overtime that I'm aware of. So she worked 9 to 5. She had 3 kids at home, and we were assholes. Because we were unattended to. She was gone all day, and then she went out at night. She generally didn't go out during the week because on weekends she would actually leave for entire weekends at a time, and me in charge. I'm 15, 13, and 12. But even younger, because I moved there when I was 15. No. It doesn't matter. It was 19 years and left me in charge of my brother and my sister. And things are wild. Yeah. But it's all our fault. Yeah, it's all our fault. And, it's just so bizarre. So I have to go through this alone as far as family goes. I can't speak for any aunts, uncles, cousins. I don't know, because they get told what my mother tells them. They probably get told the same things that when I'm so obsessed about my mother and what she's done to my mind, the things I worry about, like my weight and what I'm supposed to be doing and not doing and saying, oh my God, you have no idea. I'm my therapist sometimes nightmare. I had one therapist just like, I just can't even talk to you about this woman anymore. I was like, okay, because she knew that she spoke to her. She went there. Well, my mom's actually spoke to at least 3 of my therapists since I was 15, I guess, 15. And all 3 of them told me that my problem was my mother and that I needed to let that go. And at 18, my therapist I'd had for 3 years was like, you need to go. And I did. I moved out. And then I moved out when I was 19. So I guess maybe when I was 19. But I had him for 3 or 4 years. He was Steve Renault. He was cool. Anyway, there's that. There was David, I believe his name was. I don't know. I had him for about a year. And he got, or was it Daniel? Shit, I don't remember, our blonde guy. He was awesome. He knew I had some abandonment issues, and he felt really bad because I got a huge promotion to move away, and he had to tell me I had to leave you. And he was like, really, like, I'm really sorry about that, you know. And then the other one, well, the most recent one, she tells her, you know, I can't support her because, like, back to the thing where I think it's about money. I can't really support her, but I would be happy to pay for her funeral. We've talked about this before in other videos on Facebook, but yeah, she did tell her that she would be happy to pay for my funeral. It breaks my freaking heart. Like, I'm holding it all back right now. I really am. Like, first of all, the cost of the funeral is extensively more costly than any kind of money I would have needed for housing or support, you know, like housing or anything, help to get a bone marrow transplant. We were not totally broke ourselves. My husband was going to leave his job, and we were going to be using those funds. My friends, thank you. Mwah, 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 mwah. A lot of them came through with some money, and you know, it was totally going to be possible, except for the fact I had no support. And the support that I did have, it didn't fit the criteria exactly that the hospital required. They had to live within 90 miles, and my friend lived in 125 miles or something, and they were going to make an exception for her to do the backup, but things were just really crazy and hairy and just weren't clicking right. And so they didn't want to do it because they didn't feel I had any support, and they didn't feel like that I was committed to it. Because I wouldn't quit smoking weed. I was stressed out, man. And I didn't know what was going to happen. And I took, you know, so I decided to take a pill. And I've got 15, 16 months out of it. No graft versus host disease. No possible death. You know, I mean, just so much quality of life. Except for the whole COVID thing, so much quality of life compared to what it would have been if I had had a bone marrow transplant during COVID, especially. Yeah, moment of silence for people who did like Selma Blair. And just, and I got really lucky. Things worked out in that way. You know, their darkness, you know, but it's now, but it still exists. The problem still exists. Like, I'd still be eligible for bone marrow transplant had I had the support, if I had the support. And I don't have that kind of support. I don't have, I live in an area that is 4 hours or 3.5 hours from transplant center. There's no one related to me in any way except for my brother, who lives within the zone that is required for 90 days after a transplant. I'm not, you know, affiliated with any churches, or I'm not employed. I don't work, so I don't have any bunch of coworkers or friends. And my friends work. They can't be gone, you know. So, and plus it still just didn't fill the requirements. They have like these requirements. They're just very strict. It's a very dangerous, costly, thing. It's a big thing. All right. So with the family like this, I'm just unable. And it really is just me and Jim. My daughter, she got a lot of pressure during that bone marrow time. My husband said some things to her that were really, he's apologized 1,000 times that were not appropriate, in sense of trying to laud her with guilt for not wanting to help. She didn't want to help. She thought if she got money, I must have transferred something about money from my mother through me to her, because she thought that since her and her friends helped me with a little bit of money, which they did, thank you, yay, that she was kind of off the hook and she didn't have to help me or help my dogs or anything. Like I was going to have to give up the dogs, and there's just, oh my God, there's so much that I had to go through. Wow, this video is like 20 minutes right now. So I just wanted to lay out there, what's going on, and that, I'm really estranged from my entire family. I am as good as orphaned and going through this, me and my husband. So, if you want to follow and have nice things to say, if you don't have nice things to say, go for it. Vent. Get it off your chest. Like, really? Yeah. So anyway, stop messing with myself. Like I said, this wasn't a fashion video. Welcome to Pammy's Closet. We do stuff in here because it's quiet. The acoustics are good. People don't bother me, and, it's kind of safe from tornadoes. Have a good day.